The morning at school started like any other. I walked through the corridors amidst the echoing footsteps, shouting, and the rustling of backpacks. I had just entered my final year. My name is Daniel. I had a few friends, but very few, and most of the time I kept to myself. Classes and exams dominated my life. My social life was nearly non-existent. But that Monday, everything felt different. When Mr. Harrington entered the classroom, at first glance he seemed as trustworthy as ever. Middle-aged, calm, and kind, he walked slowly through the room, his eyes scanning the students without missing a single one. His teaching was orderly, patient when answering questions, and he never showed anger. At first he seemed like a normal teacher, perhaps even overly well-intentioned. But a strange feeling stirred inside me, a subtle unease I couldn't quite explain. As days went by, I began noticing small, odd details about Mr. Harrington. When we gathered the books in class, or when he glanced at my notebook, his eyes seemed to linger on me. At first, I thought it was my paranoia. Maybe he was just watching students during lessons. But over time, I realized his attention was different. He didn't show the same interest toward anyone else. One day, during a lab class, something strange happened. There was a moment when we were alone doing an experiment. Mr. Harrington quietly stood beside me. "Daniel, can you come here for a minute?" he said. His tone was calm and normal, but the expression in his eyes was something else. As I approached the edge of the table, I instinctively stepped back. "Don't be afraid. I just wanted to show you something," he said. In that moment, a deep discomfort stirred in me. This wasn't ordinary teacherly attention. It felt like he was testing me step by step. Leaving school became even more frightening. Walking to the library, the market, or just down the street, I felt like someone was following me. At first, I couldn't see anyone, but a few times when I turned a corner, I caught a figure watching me from afar. Squinting, I saw the same man every time. Mr. Harrington. I initially thought it was a coincidence, but soon I realized it wasn't. One day, I received a message on my phone from an unknown number. It simply read, "I've been watching you." Shocked and unnerved, I read the message. I thought it was a joke and deleted it, but the feeling of discomfort didn't fade. The sense of being followed only grew stronger. Whether walking home, leaving school, or heading to the market, the fear never left me. It wasn't just the eyes anymore. Mr. Harrington seemed to be everywhere. One evening, I stayed late at school to finish my homework. That's when things escalated. I was alone in the classroom. The silence was both comforting and terrifying. The creak of the door and distant footsteps tightened my chest. At that exact moment, Mr. Harrington quietly entered. For the first time, I saw his true intent. His smile was unnatural, cold, and calculated. "You're working late, Daniel. You like being alone, don't you, sir?" he said. His tone had nothing of the calm, reassuring teacher voice. It carried a threatening edge. My heart pounded. My hands trembled. I forced myself to stay calm, but my instincts screamed that I needed to escape. I stood up quickly. I should go, sir," I stammered. But as I headed toward the door, Mr. Harrington stepped in front of me. He spread his arms slowly, but the movement wasn't natural. Every step was deliberate. Escape seemed impossible. In a few seconds, hundreds of plans flashed through my mind. Knocking over the chemistry equipment on the table, finding something to make a loud noise. But he was so fast and composed that it felt like he anticipated every move. "Listen to me, Daniel. No one will notice," he said. His words doubled the fear inside me. From that moment on, every school day became a nightmare. Walking through the corridors, every corner filled me with dread. I realized that behind Mr. Harrington's seemingly normal behavior lay a deadly plan. His eyes followed me while gathering books. The way he approached me in class was no longer innocent. Sleeping at night became nearly impossible. Every sound, every shadow scared me. Even the ringing of my phone or message notifications made my skin crawl. Because I knew, Mr. Harrington could be anywhere, at any moment. This awareness only heightened my fear. One morning, while sitting alone in the school cafeteria, I caught his gaze as he walked past. There was a threat in that look. Mr. Harrington had completely lost his trustworthy teacher image. All that remained in his eyes was control and perversion. That day, as I hurried down the corridors after class, I heard footsteps behind me. Slowly, I turned around. There he was. But now, there was nowhere to hide. A determination rose within me. I had to survive. This wouldn't just require luck. It would demand quick thinking and planning. The next morning, as I stepped through the school doors, I tried to get back into my daily routine, but the fear inside me remained on high alert. My heart raced the moment I saw Mr. Harrington. He looked calm and normal as always, but now I knew his game. His eyes were on me, and this time, he wasn't hiding it. During class, I watched his every move. I placed my notebook on the desk and lifted my head. Our eyes met. There was no teacherly concern in his gaze anymore. It was calculated, cold, and perverse. My chest tightened. My hands grew sweaty. Warning bells rang inside me. This man was dangerous and deliberate in his actions. At lunch, instead of sitting with friends in the cafeteria, I withdrew to a corner by myself. My phone stayed in my hand. A message or call could come at any moment. And it did. "You're alone today. Listen to me." With that message, there was no turning back. Mr. Harrington had begun executing his plan, step by step. Later, during lab class, Mr. Harrington called me to the back corner of the room. I watched his steps, my breath caught. Once the door closed, we were alone. "Daniel, you don't need to be afraid. I just want you to come to me," he said. But his tone wasn't convincing. It carried a threatening edge. I wanted to run, but the lab was a confined space, every corner under his control. I tried to move quickly between the tables, but he was ahead of me. Calculated, cold, anticipating every move I made. My heart was pounding like it would burst. At that moment, I realized my life was in danger, and my only chance was to rely on my wit and agility. I noticed the cabinets in the corner of the lab. I quickly hid behind one. Mr. Harrington wandered among the tables, searching for me. I tried to breathe quietly, making no sound. My hand stayed on my phone, ready to call the police. But the signal was weak. Every second was critical for my survival. Taking advantage of a brief lapse in his attention, I slipped out from behind the cabinet and ran toward the lab's back door. My heart raced wildly. My breath was short. The corridor was silent, but my footsteps echoed. I didn't look back. I just ran straight for the exit. At that moment, I noticed the school security guards. I immediately shouted for help. Mr. Harrington froze, shock and anger flashing in his eyes. That's when I realized his plan had been ruined. As the guards chased him, he panicked. He ran through the corridor screaming, but the doors were locked and the police had been called. When the police arrived, they caught Mr. Harrington in the school's backyard. There was no plan or composure left in his eyes, only rage and fear. He screamed as he was arrested, but no one could hear him. He was no longer a threat to innocent students. Justice had been served. Later, I learned that Mr. Harrington had been following students for a long time, plotting perverse schemes on some and intending to harm others. I was shocked. Someone who seemed normal could be the most dangerous enemy. But now he was punished. With his arrest, the entire school breathed a collective sigh of relief. From that day on, the corridors always felt eerie to me. But now I understood. Fear can hide in silent glances or behind smiling faces. I had survived, not by luck alone, but through quick thinking and trusting my instincts. A few weeks later, school returned to normal. A new teacher replaced Mr. Harrington. I could walk the halls safely and focus on classes. Yet, the marks left in my memory did not fade. The corner of the lab, Mr. Harrington's cold gaze, and my escape became a lesson I would never forget. Appearances are not always trustworthy. Sometimes the most normal-looking person can be the most dangerous. The fear gradually lessened, but it taught me the importance of vigilance, suspicion, and defending my life. Survival is not just a matter of luck. It requires awareness, courage, and the right moves. Mr. Harrington had paid for his crimes. The danger was over. But the fear and paranoia of those moments would echo in my mind for years.